Yes, people, it's Matt, aka the Doc in the Arena, the guy that will give you those medical takes on sporting topics. Today, I am the one with the questions, right? Southampton versus Leicester, game delayed due to a medical emergency in the stands. Watford versus Chelsea at Vicarage Road, massive game delay due to a cardiac arrest in the stands. Sometimes I ain't got all the answers, yeah, but I do have a cheat code. And that cheat code's name is Dr. Fini. He's a friend of mine and he is the stadium doctor that works at Vicarage Road. He is a gentleman that led the resuscitation effort on the gentleman who suffered the cardiac arrest in the stands. He happily sat down with me this morning for 10-15 minutes just to chat to me about what happened and his views on the whole situation. So you do not want to miss this video. This is a very, very hot take and exclusive. If you like this type of content, actually hit like though. Genuinely, it helps the channel. Drop some questions in the comments because he will answer them. I'll make sure he answers them. And you might as well subscribe as well and hit the notification bell. Other than that, let's rock and roller. Right, Dr. Fini, yes, good to see you again. I actually owe you a favour. I don't even know if you remember, but there was one time when we were all in the stadium and there was carnage going on after a player ran into the post. And you actually, on your own volition, came down from the stands to give me a hand. And I really, really appreciated that. I actually never got you back for that favour. But love you for it anyway. Yeah, man, just tell us, like, what was it like? Bear in mind, this was televised. I'm pretty sure this was Amazon Prime, wasn't it? This was televised. And the game was literally had to be stopped for 30 minutes, which is a huge amount of time. Huge amount of time. What was it like, just like in general? Just fire away.
Yeah. So to be fair, you don't realize, like, when people tell me in hindsight it was 30 minutes, I would never have thought that. It didn't feel like that at all. So we obviously got radioed through the cardiac arrest, and that's something we rarely, if ever, hear. So obviously everyone's all hands on deck. Everyone runs to the scenario. Everyone's ready. Everyone's pumped. And I'm not going to lie. I've been doing this for years now. When someone says cardiac arrest, you get this weird feeling like crap. So you're walking to the stands, you're scared. I'm not going to lie. More so double that, triple that, because it's on TV. You know, you've got thousands and millions of eyes watching you. Theoretically, obviously they're going to blank out the cameras, but theoretically.
Yeah, but if something goes wrong, wrong.
Exactly. And that's the point. And you got how many doctors ready to bash you? No. That one compression was not right. So yeah, you're walking to the scenario, and it's manic. I'm not going to lie. So yesterday was manic. You got there, it looked good, but you get there, you've got so many people from the Watford team actually got there before me. The paramedic from the Watford team, part of the Chelsea team was already there. Then it's me with 3 paramedics to get there. On top of that, and this is probably the most difficult situation, you've got people in the crowds.
Yeah, that's a question actually, because as I said, I don't do much crowd medicine. Like, are the fans, like, how do you navigate the fans? Is there someone that clears out the fans, or are they there trying to help you, or just trying to watch, or do they all not want to watch? Are people cry? Like, what's going on? Like
everyone's watching. Everyone's
they're
watching.
They're literally watching.
Feels
you.
like everyone's watching. Yeah, when I kind of looked around, I was like, well, everyone's watching.
Oh God, but that's horrible.
To be fair, it's one of those situations that you mentioned. I came to try and help you. In hindsight, I actually thought yesterday when I was driving back home, should I have done that? Because yesterday I was getting a little bit frustrated. And actually frustrated is the wrong words, but it made my life difficult because there were medical people from the crowd that were coming in to help. And they were being let in. So the stewards and stuff, obviously they've never seen this stuff. They've seen someone pumping someone's chest and they say, I'm a doctor, I'm here to help. Course, go on through. But to me, as me trying to lead the scenario, when I've got lots of people then speaking, giving their input, trying to look at the ECG and what's on the monitor, and it's loud already, it's impossible. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario. So that's by far the most difficult thing.
I think that, and where would, if you don't mind me asking, in terms of like, where was it? Like, was it on the floor? Like, was it in the concourse? Like, was it in between the seats? Like, did you pull them out? Like, how did it work?
So, yeah, it's a good question. So, yeah, the second most difficult thing is the logistics, right? So you've seen how tight the space is in between rows of seats.
Yeah.
So this unfortunate person slid down off his seat. So he's on that maybe 2 foot space just in front of his seat, kind of squished. So the seat kind of...
So he's kind of going underneath the seat in front of him, like sort
exactly.
of...
Exactly. Yeah. So we've kind of laid him flat, but then you got to imagine you've done this stuff before, right? When you want to do compressions, you're
you can't get on top.
So you're sat next to him. So how are you going to kind of maneuver? And you need multiple people, someone to give oxygen. It's logistically, it's really, really tough.
You know what? The word you've used a lot of times is logistics. And I try and say to people who ask me, even about like working with football and with pitches and stuff, like in these situations, the type of things you deal with are like, as you said, kind of few and far between. But a lot of the most important things, I'm sure you'll agree, is actually the organisation. The way that you can give healthcare most effectively is like by having a plan and sticking to the plan, basically, right?
100%. It worked. I mean, thankfully, the guy's still alive. Without giving too much information, the likelihood of success when someone goes into cardiac arrest is very, very low. It's not like what you see in movies. People watch movies and they see someone go into cardiac arrest and they don't realize that's death. That is legit death.
100%. 100%.
Cardiac arrest is bringing someone back to life. It's not like a movie where you pump their chest and then it's a matter of time, right? And when they come back, if they come back, then the residual leftover kind of problem is significant. They might have been brain dead for a significant amount of time. They won't be the same person. They might not function the same way. So we were extremely fortunate to get this guy back and getting back quickly. So the likelihood of him having lasting issues is less.
So you talk about speed, yeah, in how important it is. So just explain to everyone. Okay, so man goes down in the stands. He's sitting there, as you said, he collapsed and he's kind of slid down. I'm guessing the person next to him has let a steward know. What's the chain of command, and roughly how long did it take for chest compressions to start and for you to arrive? How did it kind of work?
Yes, so generally it's the rest of the crowd that initially raises the flag. So you'll see someone in front of you or the casualty next to you just not behave right, maybe slump over or complain of chest pain or whatever it may be, just lean on you, and you start to think, oh, something's not right. So that person would flag it up to the stewards. And if they're close to, for example, Watford, we've got St John Ambulance, which is this unbelievable set of volunteers. They were the first people on call, and they've got AEDs, they've got a bag of equipment and basic kind of materials and apparatus and stuff. So they were on straight away. And I'm not going to lie, they saved this guy's life.
Did they put the pads on? Were the pads on when you arrived?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they didn't mess around.
I'm going to name him Mr. J. This guy saved his life. I spoke to him at the end. I was like, you should be proud of yourself, man. This was all
sick.
You.
Yeah. Hold on, wait. Let's give him a little applause.
Mr. J. So yeah, this guy just jumped on his chest straight away, and it's time critical. So whilst he's jumped on the chest, the steward has flagged it they've radioed into the control room. Yeah. And there's a control room in every single stadium from National League to Premiership, which I've worked in. And then that control room then raises it to the medical team to say, guys, we've got X issue. And then that's when we pick up all our bags and then just leg it down.
Can you just confirm something to the viewers, yeah? Genuinely, sometimes it is difficult to know whether a person's alive or not alive. It's not as easy as you might think. Like, Mr. J, let me give him another little round of applause while I'm talking, yeah? I can't stress enough, like, the guts it takes to feel for a pulse and be like, actually, I need to start chest compressions. Like, the worst... You feel like it'd be so embarrassing if you start a chest compression, this person just alive, he's just had a little faint, this, that, and the other. And it's loud, there's carnage, people are probably shouting at him, this, that, and the other. It's actually crazy difficult.
Yeah. 100%.
What?
Even if, I mean, you imagine, even outside the loud stadium situation where you've got so many people watching you, just naturally, if you go to feel someone's pulse, it's not that easy. You've got to find the exact right spot. Your fingers, if you're nervous, they might be trembling a little bit. Is that a pulse or is that my finger moving? And on top of that, you've got your own pulse, right? So sometimes you can actually feel a tiny little pulse in your capillaries.
Yeah.
This little kind of throb. So sometimes you're second guessing yourself. Oh, it's tough. It's tough.
There's something you kind of mentioned earlier. I wanted to ask a question because I genuinely don't know. How often does this type of stuff happen? So, okay, fair enough. A cardiac full-on arrest must be quite rare. I'm thinking slightly bigger, slightly older, few more beers and cigarettes on the body. Thought you might get that weekly, but no.
The major events like the cardiac arrest, I've been at Watford for 4 years. This is my first one. So you rarely, if ever, it's kind of like a never event. It never happens. You do see other stuff, the stuff that you said, you know, the people that drink a little bit too much and maybe stumble down the stairs, maybe knock their knee or head injury, or people that have, you know, asthma and then they come to, or COPD, they come to a game, they get a bit excited, they start shouting and then they start feeling a bit breathless or they have a bit of chest pain. Little things like that we kind of manage. Of course, we do send them to A&E sometimes. So it's not all minor ailments that we're kind of like a GP surgery and then send them back. But ultimately, things like cardiac arrest never happen.
Okay, what's your top three then? What's your top three things you would say you would see? Like when you go to the stadium, what are the three things you say definitely going to see one of these? 100%.
I'd say chest pain for sure.
Chest pain for sure.
Chest pain encompasses so many things. Like I don't want to go into too much detail, but I've seen a mascot at an unnamed club come in with chest pain, and it turns out it was drug overdose.
Oh, oh my goodness!
Juicy stuff, man. You see some great stuff. But chest pain for sure, through all ages. And
sorry, you got me there. You actually floored me there. Okay, chest pain 1, 2.
2, I'd say cuts and bruises.
Oh, from jumping up and down, knocks. Falling, tripping.
Yeah, for sure, I'd say that. And the last thing I would say is, I'd probably say abdo pain, tummy pain. Yeah. Through like tummy bugs, maybe food at a stadium. I don't know. We come up with some weird and wonderful excuses for people that come in with tummy pain.
Doc. Honestly, I can't believe I nearly forgot to ask this question. Why does the game stop? Like, what's the protocols? Is that pre-agreed? Because when I'm working in a match, that's actually something I don't discuss. I don't actually normally talk with the stadium docs, do we? We don't normally sort of connect. So how does that work? What would make a match stop? What would make a match be called off? And does it depend what it is or where it is? Like, how does it work?
You know what the funny thing is? So yesterday, the safety officer for the club came into our medical room just before the game and asked that exact question. He said, just out of curiosity, in what situation would I need to stop this game?
Wait, so this was just completely random?
Completely random. And I didn't know this. So this happened like 2.5 hours before the game. He comes in and he asks this question and people start kind of saying, we basically said our head ambulance, our chief ambulance officer would be the one to make that call. And I'll tell you why. But yeah, basically, so he comes in before the game. Then I arrive an hour and a half before the game. And what I do is I go up to these guys and I say, guys, just out of curiosity, can I see what machines we use? I want to refamiliarize myself. Like last time I used it was for you in this club setting was years ago. So let me just remind myself what exactly it is that you use. I've used so many different types. Let me just check. So
again, this is just your spidey. This is just your spidey senses. Said, let me go and check everything.
I don't even know why. And it's one of those things that we know in the medical world. I don't know. We're superstitious, right? So we go into a hospital. If anyone says that Q word, I can't even say it right now because I'm worried about your next shift. So that Q word, the opposite of busy. If you say that, I swear it's like you just stabbed someone. Like everyone's why would you say that? So yeah, two of us, that's two individuals go in and they start jinxing this situation, being like, what do we do in this situation? What do we do in this situation? And then lo and behold, that exact situation happens.
But what was it? But what was the answer? What was the answer?
So
you didn't know, did you?
The answer,
you didn't know, to be honest.
That's my way of just deviating, right? I don't know. No. So the answer basically is it's a case by case thing, right? So it all depends on what the situation is. So there's no hard and fast rule. If you've got a situation whereby you need space. So in this situation yesterday, we needed space. You needed at least 100 spectators to vacate their seats, get away so that we've got
100,
access.
Jeez.
Yeah, so there was a big part of the stand that we just said, guys, please clear out. And we don't say, obviously, the stewards thankfully help us in that. But you need space to firstly get to the guy quickly, speedily, and efficiently. You need to be able to maneuver and move him around. And then you need to be able to extricate him with, with ease. So all of that needs space. On top of that, you've done resus before, you've done CPR. You know that you can't really be around metal if you're going to shock someone. So again, you don't want anyone to be within that vicinity that could potentially accidentally touch something that patient's touching when they get shocked, and then they get shocked there and they have a heart. They have a cardiac arrest.
Yeah. Weird.
So it's mostly safety related. You need space. You also need stewards. So you need loads of stewards to come from all over the stadium to make that happen.
So you're losing resources. So spectators are going. You're using resources. You're using the medical team. So the game, I suppose, it then becomes unsafe to run as a live event.
100%. That's exactly what it is. It's just safety.
So if that exact same thing happened, like, okay, say upper stand right at the back of like the Rookery or something, yeah, do you think it would still have had to stop? So it's not necessarily related to the proximity to the pitch. What do you think?
No, it's not related to the pitch. It's not related to the pitch. Not related necessarily to the cameras, or at least I don't think it's related to the cameras. Obviously, you always get recordings that happens at the Euros in the summer as well. The cameras always avoid that situation because of the traumas that it causes people.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if it was far away and there weren't many fans involved, and also another thing is that medical staff from both teams joined us. They ran onto the scene really quickly. And then you got to think, if a player then, God forbid, goes down with an arrest at the same time, does the team have the resources? Do you, Doc, have the resources to say, I can comfortably manage another, God forbid, cardiac arrest at the same time?
Yeah, it's true.
And if the answer is no, which it probably will be, then we need to stop. We need to be safe. Everything on hold. Let's deal with that situation. And then let's go back to a situation where we've got all hands on deck again.
I think just off camera, we were chatting, and I remember you said to me that you think actually the last couple of months have maybe been your busiest in the stands, in the crowd, in terms of things going on and like major incidents and all that. Compared to your last 4 years or however long you've been doing this for. Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
100%. What do you think the reason for that is?
It's I don't like to say it, but I think personally, and this is just my thoughts, that it's COVID related. So, and I don't think it's necessarily because of byproducts of having COVID or, being immune systems being changed and whatnot because of the virus, but more so because I think people haven't been using the medical resources because of, we went into lockdown. People weren't calling their GPs necessarily. GPs were kind of going into hospitals to help, or they were dealing with other issues. So lots of people have put their own issues on the back burner. And then slowly over time's gone on. You've got the people that have had these little niggles and the little chest pains. They've thought, I don't want to bother anyone about it. And then slowly they come to a game, and you know how intense a situation can be. You've got the fans in a stadium, obviously the most passionate people around, right?
That's a very, very good point. I'm giving you a round of applause for that. Doc, really appreciate your time. The actual Doc in the arena. Honestly, really appreciate your time. Shout out to Mr. J as well. We gave him some props earlier. It is actually mad that yesterday you just brought someone back to life. Like, I try and stress this to people with cardiac arrest. The person has passed away and you're literally bringing them back. You've got like a short window to restart everything. So appreciate your time, respect what you do, and hopefully have you back on, actually. Hopefully have you back on.
Hopefully so, man. Hopefully so. But yeah, love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it. I find your videos so genuinely educational, even for me. So keep doing it, man.
He has to say that, but yeah, cheers. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you like that kind of style, more an interview style, getting more guests on, can you please let me know in the comments or in the Discord? Helps me plan my content going forward and the best ways to serve you guys. Other than that, I will see you on the next video. Peace.